Good evening, everyone. Here once again, it's a beautiful and warm evening from Sri Lanka. We are very happy to welcome you all from many parts of the world once again to the fourth session of the Buddhist Psychology, Psychotherapy and Counseling online course in Sri Lanka. So I'm very happy to welcome you all and many hundred participants once again. Today is the fourth session. You know very well. This course is conducted by the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, University of Kelaniya, which is already conducting this course at diploma level, BA level, and at postgraduate level. Once again today, we are very happy to have veteran professor Sumanapala Galmangoda as our resource person. He started his academic career as a Pali scholar. Then he wrote many books on early Buddhist teachings. Then he extended his research to Abhidhamma. Now, especially, he has devoted his time for Buddhist psychology, psychotherapy, and counseling. I should mention here, in Sri Lanka, one of his books in Sinhala language, Adibauddha Darshana, is one of the most famous and well-informed sources for the study of early Buddhism at university level and also for the general public. So he's one of our respected teachers. We are very happy once again to have him as our resource person for the fourth session as well. Today, we have a very special item on our agenda, that is presenting the work, academic work, the book written and published by Senior Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda as the handbook of this course. So the very title is Psychology, Psychotherapy and Counseling based on Buddhism. There will be a special introductory lecture by Matthew Abridge a few minutes later. Now we take time first the book to be the new book on this for this course on this theme to be presented by Senior Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda to Senior Professor Makurupe Dhammananda Thera, the present head of the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies of the University of Kelaniya. Now, Professor is going to present the newly published book for this course to Venerable Professor, Senior Professor Venerable Dhammananda Thera. Then we are happy to announce you all, we were able to and we were lucky to present one of the copies of the first copies of the book to Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, Senior Professor Ms. Nilantidi Silva. Now you are going to witness the evidences of that particular event. You are seeing here Senior Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda and Senior Professor Makurupe Dhammananda Mahathera is presenting one of the first copies to Senior Professor Nilantida Silva, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, the present Vice Chancellor, who is encouraging and giving her fullest support for conducting this course at international level. Thanking for those snaps and evidences. Next, may I move to Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, Senior Professor Nilantidi Silva, on this work.
The University of Kelaniya has its historic roots in the Vijjacarana Pirivena, which is an institution that is known around the world for its learning and teaching in Buddhist tradition, and also in the humanities, in indigenous learning in the humanities. And so the university has a history and a long-standing tradition of sharing, disseminating knowledge with regard to Buddhist culture and traditions. And the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies in our Faculty of Humanities has taken this really groundbreaking step of offering a short course on Buddhist psychology, Buddhist psychotherapy and counseling to an audience that reaches very widely beyond of the boundaries of the university, nationally as well as internationally. The short course was initially conducted in Sinhalese, but now it has reached many countries through the short course that is conducted in English by Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda. And this book that he has put out, which brings together the learning materials that he presents, the information and the knowledge that he shares with people who are participating in the course, is put together, put down in writing in this book that is being launched on Buddhist psychology, Buddhist psychotherapy and counseling, with an introduction to Ayurvedic healing system. So I'm really glad that the university is able to support the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies and Professor Mangoda in this extremely creditable and groundbreaking venture. Thank you.
I'm thankful very much to Senior Professor Ms. Nilanthi De Silva, the present Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, for giving us time and also very important and encouraging message within her very busy schedule for restarting and continuation of the university under the present pandemic status. Professor Nilanthi De Silva is originally from the medical faculty of the University of Kelaniya, and now she's the present Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya and also one of the senior professors of medicine in Sri Lanka. We are very happy to have a personality of the caliber of Senior Professor Nilanthi De Silva in the post of Vice Chancellor, encouraging us always for propagating our knowledge at local and international level. So once again, on behalf of the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies and all the participants here today and the students of this course, I am thankful very much to Senior Professor Nilanthi De Silva, the present Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, for giving us valuable time and also very much encouraging message. Next item on the agenda is the introduction to the newly published work, Buddhist Psychology, Psychotherapy and Counseling by Senior Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda. The introduction is to be given by Mr. Matthew Aldrich. He is from UK. He's a practitioner, trainer and psychiatric mental health nurse working in London, England. We are very happy to have Mr. Matthew Aldrich here today to present and to give his scholarly comments on this work. He became interested in Buddhism and Ayurveda in the 1990s and spent 6 months as a volunteer for an NGO in studying, practicing and witnessing Ayurveda practices. Then he is also a London qualified Ayurvedic therapist and was awarded the diploma in Buddhist Ayurvedic counseling and psychiatry by the Nagananda International Buddhist Institute of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. So he has his academic and practical experience in Buddhist studies and also in Ayurveda studies. He did his studies under the guidance and supervision of our respected resource person, a senior professor, Sumanapala Galmangoda. From 2016, he is introducing Buddhist Ayurvedic programs in London, and since 2021, he has been working on the online Buddhist Ayurvedic counseling MA program based at Kelaniya University. So we have a very close relationship with Sri Lanka, with the Kelaniya University, and also to the International Institute for Buddhist Studies, the Nagananda University. So we are very happy to have here with academic experience, deep research experience, and also practical knowledge. He is a scholar with these qualities. So I respectfully and kindly invite Matthew Albrecht to give his introductory speech to the newly published book to be used and to be read by the participants of this course, and also to the general public who are interested on the subject. Here, the stage is open for Mr. Matthew Aldrich.
Thank you very much for your warm introduction, and thank you for having me here for this event. Very kind. Hopefully, can you see me, just to make sure you can see and hear me?
Yes, we can see.
All right, good, I'll continue. And you can see the screen, my screen share?
Yeah, we see.
Oh, good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So this is hopefully Professor Sumanapala doesn't mind. I've shared this content page to give an idea of the contents of this new book. I'm so grateful this is here, and I've been waiting for like 7 years. I've got this, still got this copy from 2015 of the handbook that was available then, and I've kept it like a treasure because it's so important information. And now we've got this book at last, so I'm very, very happy, and I'm really looking forward to using these materials in my future studies at King's College, hoping to do a PhD in this course, in this subject. So that this book is going to be so important and so helpful for that. But I thought I would just share some of the practical applications that I've been working on since I trained in Sri Lanka under Professor Sumanapala Galmangoda in 2015, to share how I've tried to integrate some of what he's taught in this program and this approach in London. So I'll share some slides with some information. I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes, so I will just skip past that. So this was 2015, and Professor Sumanapala, I mentioned in an email that it'd be very hope we can introduce some of these things in the West. So that's what I've been working on. This is the first place where we introduced a Buddhist Diabetic program. This is a kind of a day center for people with mental health problems. They can come, they can participate in various activities, and we ran Ayurvedic aspects within this Fairfield house for people with mental health problems. So it was a one-to-one program, and we offered one-to-one 90 minutes. I've put Buddhist Ayurvedic therapy sessions. They were delivered on a voluntary donation basis, so people could, if they wanted to, make a donation towards costs. And it was in South London, run by a charity, UK charity for mental health. 20 clients participated in the sessions. This is the first step of the introduction. So the diagnoses of the participants included bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and panic disorder, and paranoid schizophrenia. So these are the diagnoses of the people that came, and this is an outline of some of the kinds of Ayurvedic aspects we used. So Shirodhara, Shiro Abhyanga, head massage, Shiropichu, which is, these are all kind of physical aspects, physical treatments from the Ayurvedic side. So we're integrating the Ayurvedic aspects along with the Buddhist psychology aspects as well. The second part of the process was at the London Buddhist Vihara. This was a group program. So this is in West London, actually. And this is the Vihara there. It's been established for some time. So was established in 1926. So I felt it was a good place to introduce this approach. So this was an 8-week group-based Buddhist Ayurvedic therapy program, reviewed by the monks in the temple, and so that was where that was held. And during this program, we did an initial 40-minute consultation with the people that came to the course, and each session was for 2 hours and 30 minutes. They were held on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. And each session was designed to be part of a sequential progression, but also to stand alone. So people could come to one session or 2 sessions or 3, but actually most people came to all of them because they enjoyed the course. And I'll just give you the outline of what was in those. So sessions included psychoeducation, and this was I'll show you the themes in a moment. And the number of participants was a small group, but a good size for about 6 people came together, having discussions and doing various things we can use for self-care. So the themes in the courses included Ayurvedic knowledge from the Ayurvedic side and from the Buddhist side. So eating well, improving digestion, exercise and sleeping well, strengthening and controlling the senses, taking care with actions and developing compassion, sila, and getting back on our feet, understanding and developing our character and developing wisdom. So within this, there's sila, samadhi, panya are included within these themes, as well as the Ayurvedic self-care physical aspects, working with the hindrances as well, the 5 hindrances. And we asked the participants from these 2 delivery formats, the one-to-one and group formats, these questions to get feedback. How did they find the quality of the service? Did it meet their expectations? How helpful did they feel that it was? So these were the questions that we used to get feedback about what the Londoners experienced from this approach. So you can see how that was broken down. So 3 at the top there, this was like total satisfaction, but it was high for both. They liked the group format. I think they liked the group format slightly more because they had an extra dimension where they could learn from each other as well. So quality, expectations, helpfulness, they would recommend to others. So this approach, the Buddhist Ayurvedic approach, developed by Professor Samana Gamangoda, is something that people, these Londoners, they found it satisfactory and something they would come back to. Now the current stage is I'm working within this Slam Recovery College, and it's within the National Health Service. It's funded by the Maudsley charity, but it's also within the National Health Service, but its funding is from there. So this was in 2020. We did interactive webinars. Obviously, because of the pandemic, we had to go online. So it was done online. Started in April 2020. We did 3 sessions per week. There were 26 sessions in total, and there were 3,299 registrations. So people signed up for the course. There were over 3,000, and the average registrations per session was 127. So that was a good kind of turnout. And yes, sounds like I need to stop, do I? Was that 10 minutes? I can continue? Sorry, I lost track of time. Hello?
Okay, no problem.
I'll continue now.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. So these are the themes that we covered. So we've got some of the Brahma Viharas included, empathic joy, equanimity. The Brahma Viharas are included there. Tilakkhana, the 3 marks of existence were mentioned towards the end of this program, the 5 hindrances, metabhavana, developing loving kindness, as well as self-massage for our hands. So we included the Ayurvedic aspects of the self-massage, as well as learning about the Brahma Viharas, how we can practice those in practical everyday life, amma cleansing. So it's a combination based on Sila, Samadhi, Panya, behavioral therapy, mental therapy, cognitive therapy, which you can learn from the Professor Samanapala's book. So all based on those principles. current courses, so that currently we're doing a slightly different approach. We've got these courses running, so 5 obstacles on the road of recovery, which is a way of using the teaching of the 5 hindrances in relation to the mental health problems, and how we can learn to deal with the 5 hindrances in daily life. And then loving kindness and metta bhavana combined with the self-massage, so using Ayurvedic self-massage as a method for giving loving kindness to the body. And the current course that's under development is focused on dana, so giving for well-being, how we can introduce dana or giving into daily life, and a course on the Brahma Viharas, going back to that. So the current thing I'm doing is in the process of, hopefully by October, we'll start this PhD on the rationale and co-design of internet-delivered Buddhist Ayurvedic therapy. So the idea is to develop an app using the Buddhist Ayurvedic assessment and personally tailored program with Buddhist Ayurvedic well-being education modules and video calls and coach support with the coach or supporter counselor, and signpost into further support and therapies. That's the kind of thing that I think we can develop in future for this app to be available in Sri Lanka, UK, also ideally in Sinhala, Tamil, different languages as well. So that's that concept. Internet delivered Buddhist Ayurvedic therapy smartphone app for use among multi-ethnic populations within Sri Lanka, the UK, and other populations globally. So this is the future plan for how we can use the theories, ideas, and those aspects from the book Professor Sumanapala has written for us, thankfully, and then we can use that as a basis for all kinds of ways for applications. So and also another aspect of this is that it will be, the plan is for it to be co-designed. So that means designing it together with practitioners in Sri Lanka and other places where people have trained in this approach, so we can develop something usable internationally. But thank you for having me. But that's within the time. I appreciate that, and thanks very much for writing the book for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Bridge, for giving us your valuable time, and also very much well informing your presentation. With your practical experiences in UK, based on the course developed by Professor Sumanapala Galmangodan, Buddhist Psychology, Psychotherapy and Counseling, and also you included very much how your plans are going for the future, and how you have expanded and how it is going on beyond the boundaries of nationalities and religions, etc. Actually, that is what we have to do. Thank you very much for your kind presentation and for your time. With that words, next I would like to invite Professor Galmangoda today once again to continue with the 4th session of the online short course on Buddhist psychology, psychotherapy and counseling.
Thank you very much, Venerable Panyaloka Thera, the Senior Lecturer of the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, for helping us to launch the newly published book, Buddhist Psychology, Psychotherapy and Counseling, with an introduction to Ayurvedic healing system. Actually, within a short period of time, we were able to finish this function as a part of this program, because many students asked about the source material for this course. Therefore, actually, with the encouragement by Senior Professor Venerable Makuruppe Dhammananda Thera, the head of the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies of the University of Kelaniya, I was able to finish this book as soon as possible. And also we we wanted to present it before the final session of this course. However, now we are lucky that we have done it. Actually, I thought of presenting it to the Venerable Makuruppe Dhammananda Thera, the first copy, because actually the whole these progressive works in the department at present, especially not only this one, but also many other academic and other works done in regard to the development of the department, as well as my participation, and also this program was encouraged by Professor Makuruppe Dhammananda Thera. That is why I thought of presenting the first copy of this book to Professor Makuruppe Dhammananda Thera. And also, you know, actually he informed me as the head of the department, he mentioned always that Vice Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya at present, Professor Nirantida Silva, she is always encouraging him as well as providing all facilities, encouragement to develop these academic and other activities of the department. Therefore, we thought of presenting the second copy of the book to the Vice Chancellor, and we are very thankful for him, for her, to her encouraging message and participating in this event. And also, we thought of inviting Mr. Matthew Eldridge to give an introduction to this new publication, because according to my considered opinion, Matthew Eldridge is the best scholar who has grasped the basis of, especially the philosophical basis of Buddhist Ayurvedic psychology, counseling, and psychiatry. Actually, I am very proud of him because he, from the day that he completed his short term at Nagananda, and also after completing his MA at the Postgraduate Institute of Pali and Buddhist Studies of the University of Kelaniya, he is constantly engaged in developing this subject. Now he has ventured to start a PhD research on this subject, and also he is developing a model of practical aspect of this course, especially in regard to UK as well as national and international level. I think in the near future, he will be able to present a unique practical method with evidence to all the world. Therefore, I think we have a great hope about this Mr. Matthew, because he is the one, especially as a foreigner, but however, he is well versed in this subject. Therefore, I think I am sure we are very proud of him. And also, I am very thankful to him for introducing this course as well as his progress in this regard. And now I think we have spent little time for these events, but I am sorry because we have taken a little time from this course for your valuable time. But however, it will be very useful for all of you, because you know, you can understand, because many students have asked whether they are practitioners of Buddhist psychology, psychotherapy, and counseling. Now you can understand that it has gone to the international level, and also there are thousands of students who have followed these courses, and still they are also practicing throughout the island and also in an international level. However, now today we are starting our program with 2-3 lessons of the lesson 3, because actually today we have to start lesson 4, but however we have left 2-3 lessons of the third lesson. I am going to start with that. Now let us see page lesson 3, page 3, the graph about the threefold therapeutic system and the mental purification. You know, here in brief, I have given this because, you know, morality temporary, that means tatanga pahad. Morality or moral training or behavioral therapy is considered as a temporary one, right? That means temporarily solving mental problems by changing the behavioral pattern. Because when we are treating, when we are doing counseling, we cannot eliminate all the problems at once. Therefore, we have to follow 3 steps according to Buddhism. These 3 steps are called Tadanga, Vikambana, and Samuchcheda. That means for the time being, temporarily we have to change the behavioral pattern. Because, you know, although there are behavioral model and psychotherapy therapy model and also a cognitive model, but however in Buddhism all the 3 steps should be followed continuously. That means every treatment should start with the behavioral therapy. That means, you know, without changing the behavior, we cannot go ahead. That means, you know, all the data into the mind coming from the sense faculties. You know? Therefore, without the restrainment of the sense faculties, we cannot control the mind. For the time being, first of all, we have to change the behavioral pattern. That means, especially physical and verbal behavior of the person, that becomes a good foundation for the mental calmness. Then the second one is called concentration. That means samadhi. It is called vikambana pahana. That means solving mental problems in long-term scale by repressing defilements, craving, etc. You know, one of the students also have, is there any reference for the statement that through samadhi? Actually, you know, no need to explain it. You can understand that by realizing the 4 parts: stream within, once returning, non-returning, and arahantship. We know that only by the arahantship, right? Only by attaining the arahantship, we are eliminating rupa raga, attachment to form. That means the trances related to the form sphere. Arupa raga, attachment to the trances belonging to the formless sphere, right? Then rupa raga, mana and conceit, uddhacca, distortion of mind, avijja, ignorance. You know, and also, you know, the craving and ill will, that means greed and hatred, are completely destroyed by attaining to the once returning and non-returning levels. Because in once returning level, we suppress them. But in non-returning level, we are eliminating those 2 things. That means greed and hatred. Then this samadhi is the second state. Actually, we are eliminating this greed, hatred, delusion, etc. at the 4th level, at the 3rd level. That means the final level. But that means sila, samadhi, panya. In the level, in the final level means wisdom or developing the insight. Then till then, all these defilements are oppressed or suppressed. Therefore, no need to say especially, right? But however, in the Samanya Pala Sutta, etc., you may find details about these trances and final realization you can get. However, it is repressing or suppressing the defilements, but not eliminating. And the 3rd step is wisdom. That means panya, complete solution. It is called samuchcheda pahana, 3rd step, right? Then first step supports the second one, second step supports the third one. It is samuchcheda. That means, completely solving mental problems by removing all wrong concepts from the mind. That is the final one. Therefore, I think these three steps should be practiced together consecutively or repeat the one by one when we are treating a customer, right? Remember that we cannot use one or two out of these, right? Although there are behavioral model, the psychoanalytic model, and biological model, but we cannot, in Buddhism, we cannot follow these one by one or separately. All the three aspects should be followed in order to treat the customers. That is what I have to tell you by this. And next one is, next one you can see in the lesson 3, page 4. Lesson 3, page 4, that graph. It's called cognitive approach to conflict resolution, right? Actually here, this one, actually this one I have taken from the from Digha Nikaya, Mahanidana Sutta. Mahanidana Sutta. According to this sutta, actually we are talking about the psychotherapy and counseling. No? Then actually this is applied to psychotherapy. That means we can analyze the psychological conflicts through a process, right? Once we analyze the problem, psychological problem, actually there is no problem there, because actually it becomes a conflict or problem because we cannot understand it clearly. Therefore, let us take these steps, right? I have given English translations, but I will use the Pali terms. According to the Mahanidana Sutta, the conflicts, right? Actually, the mental problems are conflicts. Conflicts means contradictory ideas conflicting each other. Then it becomes a problem. Then, as a fundamental way of analyzing such conflicts, we can follow this method. One by one, if we take the first one from the bottom, because of craving, right? Craving or desire or lust, right? All of us, that means all normal beings, right? All beings, all ordinary beings have these two aspects, three aspects. That means greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed means lust, craving, right, etc. It has various levels. But however, almost all the people, right, all the people, all ordinary people have this idea, desire, right? Because of desire for some things, right? Maybe material or immaterial things we need. Therefore, we have desire to obtain them, right? Actually, desire is there to get what we want, right? Therefore, motivated by desire, we search for the things that we want to get. That is called pariyesana, tanham paticca pariyesana. Because of craving, we are searching for, right? We can apply this into many other problems, right? But this is the common ground. Because of desire, we are searching after the things to obtain, right? Tanham paticca pariyesana. Pariyesanam paticca labho. Sometimes we get, sometimes we don't get it. But however, in this case, let us think that we have obtained already, right? We have something to get, and we are, because of my desire, I am searching for, and I get it, right? That is called labha, pariyesanam paticca labho. After obtaining it, labham paticca vinichchayo. Then what happens, after getting what we want, we come to a decision, right? That decision may be like this, this is the best in the world, right? All others are not good. Like that, we come to a conclusion about the thing that we have already got, right? That is called vinichchaya, right? Conclusion, right? Maybe sometimes, there are many things in the world, no? Then suppose that if we are searching for one person, then, there are thousands, millions of people in the world, but I select one person. Then I come to after getting him or her, I come to the decision that this is the best, this is the most beautiful one in the world. Like that, we come to a conclusion. Tanham paticca pariyesanam, pariyesanam paticca labho, labham paticca vinichchayo. That means conclusion. Vinichchayam paticca chandarago. Once we come to a conclusion like that, we are tied with that. We are bound with that, right? Because our decision, we are bound with that. We cannot go away because now we are attached to that, right? Then labham paticca vinichchayo, vinichchayam paticca chandarago. Chandarago means the strict attachment to that object that we have already obtained and that we have already come to a conclusion, right? Chandaragam paticca. Then, because of this close attachment to the object, Chandaragam paticca ajjosana, right? Ajjosana means, now we are very strongly attached to that object that we have already obtained. Now we are sinking into it, right? Adi our sea, right? That is the etymology. That means we are sleeping inside it. We are dreaming, right? Actually, we come to a dreamy world. We cannot understand anything else because now our world is that. We are living in that, right? That in that object, whatever it is, right? Ajjosana. Actually, adi our sea. Adi our are two prefixes and sea to sleep, right? Then ajjosanam paticca pariggaho. Now what happens, once we sink into it, then we are covered by that, right? Pariggaha. We are covered by that object. Actually, we have no outside anything because now we are closed by that. We are governed by that, right? We are inside it. We are blind now. We cannot see outside because we are covered by that. Pariggaho, ajjosanam paticca pariggaho. Now we are living in that dreamy world without conscious of other things, right? We are blind now. Now what happens? Ajjosanam paticca pariggaho, pariggaham paticca maccharyam. Now our whole life is that now. Then what happens? Misery arises, right? Macharya. What does it mean according to commentarial interpretation? Maidang acharyam anye sanghot. He thinks this is only for me, not for others. Now I cannot share this with others, right? It should be limited to myself. That idea is called misery, right? Then that is a stronger attachment further, right? Misery comes. Then after that, what happens? Maccharyam paticca arakkam. Because of this misery, we begin to protect it from others. We want to protect it. That object may be a material thing, may be a view, right? Suppose that if you are attached to a political view or religious view very strongly, this is also said. Suppose that if you are attached and you have sunk into a religious opinion or religious view, what you are doing is you try to protect it from others, right? Then what happens, arakkam paticca, in order to protect it from others, what happens? we have to take dandadana, we have to take sticks. Sattadana, we have to take weapons. Dandadana, sattadana, kalaha, we have to quarrel with others. Kalaha, vijjaha, we have to do fightings with others, right? In order to protect this. Vijjaha, vivada, tuantua, and we have to argue with each other. And tuantua, we have to abuse others. Tuantua, pesunya, we have to do tail bearing, right? Tuantua, pesunya, musa, we have to lie, right? Musa, pesunya, parusa, we have to use harsh words. Aneke papaka akusala dhamma sambhavanti, innumerable number of conflicts arise. Now you can understand how a simple thing, right? Because of desire, how many conflicts arise in the society. Actually, all these objects that we are searching for can be classified into two. One is attachment to sensual pleasures, right? Second one, attachment to views, right? These are called kamaraga and ditthiraga. You know, I think I have found in Pali canon the longest two words regarding this. Once Buddha was asked why people in the world are always conflicting each other. Then Buddha used only one word. Kamaraga, vinivesa, vinibanda, vinigeda, paligeda, parayuttana, josana, etu. How many letters are there, you know? Kamaraga means sensual pleasure. Vinivesa means entering into the pleasures. Vinivesa, vinibanda, by attachment to the sensual pleasures. By entering into them, by attaching to them, vinivesa, vinibanda, paligeda, by sinking into them, paligeda, pariyuttana, by covering with them, right? Pariyuttana, ajjosana, sleeping in them, right? In a dreamy world, right? Ajjosana, pariyosana, ajjosana, hetu. Because of these reasons, people, ordinary people, then Buddha was asked why the intellectual people make conflicts each other. Then the same word was changed, only one word. Ditthiraga vinivesa vinipanda paligeda Ditthiraga vinivesa vinibanda paligeda pariyuttana hetu. Because the scholars have entered into various views, various opinions, right? Views. Ditthiraga, they are attached to various views. Ditthiraga. Vinivesa, they have entered into them. Vinivesa, paligeda, they have bound with them, and they have sunk into them, right? Paligeda, pariyuttana, they are covered with those views, right? Paligeda, pariyuttana, ajjosana, they are sleeping in them. They are leading a dreamy world within those views. That is why the intellectual people make conflicts among them, right? Now, you see, all the problems, all the psychological problems arise because of these conflicts. Because the two main reasons are attachment to sensual pleasures and attachment to various views. Therefore, by discussing with the customer, we can understand whether it is connected with sensual pleasure or whether it is connected with the particular view. Then we can analyze them. Then we can find out the solution to the problem, right? Then we can explain to the customer, this is what happened because of your attachment to this view, because of your attachment to these sensual pleasures, you have created all these conflicts and problems. Then, you know, after understanding the problem, then there is no more conflict, right? Therefore, I think this is very important for you to follow, especially in psychotherapy, therapeutic methods. Then the next one we have to follow, because I have newly added another one from Sabbasava Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya, right? Its title is 7 Steps to Eliminate All Problems, right? 7 steps to eliminate all problems, right? Now I think you can see there are 7 steps suggested by the Buddha in Sabbasava Sutta to eliminate all problems. Sabbasava, Sabba Asava. Sabba means all. Asava means defilements. I told you that according to Buddhist context, mental problems can be considered as defilements, right? They, although they are not mentioned as mental illnesses, but however, defilements means nothing else, mental problems, right? Then Buddha has suggested 7 steps to eliminate these mental problems. The first one is development of insight. By developing the insight, we can eliminate some problems. Second one is by restrainment of the senses. Some problems can be solved by the restrainment of the senses. And another one, patisevana, that means by the moderate use of requisites. Requisites means food, clothes, house, and medicine, right? These are the 4 requisites of a person. Then by using them in a moderate way, we can eliminate many problems. And the fourth one is adivasana. That means by developing patience, right? That means when there arise many ideas, opposite ideas in our mind, we should be able to bear up them or be patient without acting according to them or without being motivated by them. We should be able to suppress them. It is called adivasana, right? Then number 5, parivajjana. There are some social elements, by avoiding troublesome situations. Sometimes because we are facing or we are going to such places where the things happening which will create conflicts in our mind. But we can avoid such places or such contact with the people, right? Suppose that if someone is coming to argue with you, right? And if you understand that if I continue this argument further and further, or sometimes we have to fight. Therefore, at the beginning, you have to avoid, right? If you understand that the other person is angry and he is going to fight with me, first of all, he is speaking very roughly, then you can stop on that place, right? Without continuing that, you can avoid that. Avoiding is another method to get rid of many problems, right? And next one is vinodana, by eradicating unwanted ideas. That means, when there arise unsuitable ideas in mind, because, there may arise greed, hatred, delusion, misery, etc., anger. Then if you understand that this idea creates problem for me, right? If I keep this idea in mind, there may arise many problems. Then if you understand it as unwholesome, you have to reject it, right? Because we are the authority of everything of ourselves, no? Our mind also is under our control, no? Therefore, we can control them. We can avoid them. We can eliminate such ideas. Suppose that, I can remember, in the Kalama Sutta, when Buddha visited the Kalama's country, they told the Buddha that, oh, many sages, many religious leaders come to our country, and they express various opinions, right? We are doubtful about them because no one idea, right? Then Buddha said, okay, if they express many opinions, then you have to doubt, right? It is okay. It is suitable for you to doubt. But Buddha also presented one theory. Okay, listen to my explanation also. Suppose then Buddha asked from the Kalamas, do you think that greed is good or bad? Oh, it is bad. Hatred is good or bad? Bad. Delusion is good or bad? Bad. Then Buddha said that if you understand that greed, hatred, and delusion are unwholesome or bad, then if anything leads to greed, if anything develops greed, understand it is bad. If any action, anything increases hatred, understand it is bad. If any action, anything increases delusion, understand it is bad. Then that is the normal theory, because no need to be a Buddhist, right? No need to be any religionist to believe this, right? Greed, hatred, and delusion are unwholesome, because motivated by greed, hatred, and delusion, people do not behave perfectly, right? They do many wrong things because motivated by these three unwholesome roots. Then Buddha explained to the Kalamas, don't believe other religionists or their opinions. Understand these three factors, greed, hatred, and delusion. If any action is rooted in these three, understand it is bad, right? Then we can also, understand that if any idea arises in your mind, whether it is related to greed, hatred, and delusion, then you eliminate it. That's what we have to do by eradicating. Then the seventh one is by development of concentration, bhavana. That means, according to my understanding, this is concentration. Because, number one, development of insight means dasana. It means actually the insight meditation, right? Insight can be developed by insight meditation. That means we have to understand everything as it is, right? Without bias, right? Without bias means without motivated, not being motivated by greed or hatred, right? If so, we can see something as it is. Therefore, number one refers to the insight meditation. Or it is not a simple understanding, right? It is insight, panya, wisdom. That means we should develop it by understanding. But before that, number 7 is bhavana. It is also bhavana, meditation, but meditation is twofold, samatha and vipassana, insight and concentration. Then if we take insight meditation as number 1, we can take number 7 as concentration meditation. That means the mental calmness, right? Then then if we take number 7 as concentration meditation, that means samadhi or psychotherapy. The first one is the third level, that means cognitive therapy, right? Number 7 belongs to the psychotherapy. Number 1 belongs to the cognitive therapy. Then other 7, there are other 6, other 5. That means by restrainment, by moderate use of requisites, by developing patience, by avoiding troublesome situations, by eradicating unwanted idea. All these 5 methods belongs to morality, right? That is my classification, right? Because every practice of Buddhism should include these 3 facts: behavioral, psychological, or and cognitive, right? Then now from number 2 to number 6, right? All these belong to the behavioral aspect. For example, restrainment of the senses. That means when we are looking, when we are hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. These are the senses, no? Then actually it means restrainment of the senses. That means, although we see thousands of things, suppose that if you see thousands beautiful things, if you try to get all the 1,000 things, you are in trouble. Therefore, you should have a kind of restrainment in regard to what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and what you touch. That is sila, morality, the behavioral therapy. And the second one, moderate use of requisites. That means food, cloth, house, and medicine. These are the 4 requisites. Suppose that if you use food, there are thousands, many kinds of food. So if you think to eat all of them, what happens? You may face with physical problems, right? Suppose that if there are many kinds of clothes, right? If you try to use them all, you will be in trouble, right? And there are many kinds of houses. If you try to get all of them, then you are in trouble, right? There are many kinds of medicines, right? If you try to take all of them, you are in trouble. Therefore, in regard to the 4 main requisites, you have to follow a moderate level, right? Without that, you cannot concentrate your mind, right? It is also moral behavior or behavioral aspect. And also, adivasana, by developing patience, that you should actually, in this world is impermanent. Everything is changing moment by moment. Therefore, nothing happens according to our wishes, right? Everything, maybe sometimes something happens according to our wishes, but next moment, the same thing happens opposite to our wishes, no? Therefore, in this changing world, we cannot expect everything happening according to our desires, right? Therefore, patience is very important. We should be able to bear up, right? Bear up everything, right? That means, many things happen without against our wishes. Therefore, we cannot make the world as we wish, right? Therefore, we should essentially practice patience. It is very important. It is also belonging to the concentration, right? No, actually, it is a little bit connected with concentration, but the number 2 and 3, by restrainment of the senses, moderate use of requisites, directly connected with the moral behavior or the behavioral aspect. By developing patience, actually, mental restrainment, it belongs to the mental restrainment, that means concentration. And by developing patience, right? By developing patience is mental restrainment, and by avoiding troublesome situations. This is moral behavior. That means, it is a social aspect, no? When you understand some situations will create some problems, you can avoid such events, right? That is also belong to the moral behavior, right? Or behavioral aspect. And number 6, by eradicating unwholesome ideas. That means, if there arise anger, desire, etc., then you have to eliminate them. You have to suppress them. It also belongs to concentration, or samadhi. Now of these 6, number 2, number 3, right? Number 2, number 3, and number 5, right? Number 5 belongs to morality, sila. I have given under there, right? number 2, number 3, and number 5 means morality or behavioral aspect of the person. Then number 4, number 6, and number 7. Number 4 means adivasana. Number 6 means by eradicating vinodana. And number 6, 3 aspects belong to concentration or samadhi, psychotherapy or psychological aspect. And number 1 belongs to wisdom. It is cognitive aspect. This is my classification, right? But however, these 7 aspects are very important as far as all mental and physical or social problems are concerned, right? Actually, these 7 steps, if you follow, you can eliminate not only the mental problems, but also mental, cognitive, social, etc. Right? All kinds of. That is why it is called Sabba Sava. All problems arise due to these aspects, right? Therefore, I think we have to follow these things in order to eliminate many problems, right? Then now I think we have to go to the another method. That means it is I have taken because I have changed some pages of these lessons. Next one is you can refer to page lesson 4. Lesson 4. Actually, today we have the lesson 4, but pages 8 to 10, right? Actually, these there are 14 methods of counseling, right? Actually, for psychotherapy also we can use them. But however, these I have actually in Buddhism, there are no any definite number of methods. We can use many methods because in regard to the Pali canon, we can understand that many methods have been used by the Buddha as well as by the disciples in order to do counseling and psychotherapy, right? Then the Jataka stories and also the discourses. If you read the discourses in the Sutta Pitaka and also in the Vinaya Pitaka, right? You may find, especially the texts in the Sutta Pitaka, Theragata, Therigata, Jataka, Udana, right? All these have many methods, right? Therefore, I think you can find thousands of counseling methods if you go through this literature. But for the time being, I have made 14 such methods for counseling with reference to many discourses and stories recorded in the Buddhist literature. Now let us go from through them one by one. Methods of counseling. You can use this in various contexts regarding various customers. And some of these can be used for psychotherapy. Some of them can be used as counseling methods. Number 1, confession. But you don't understand, you should not get the real meaning as confession here, because confession means actually we confess our faults in front of God or any religious leader or God. But this is not actually, although I use the term confession, it is not really the confession. This is called apatti desana in Buddhism, right? Buddhist monks are following this method. That means, actually this method is followed in regard to the minor offenses, right? If a Buddhist monk commit a minor offense, it is his duty that he has to confess. He has to confess that fault in front of another monk, right? Another monk, that he has to approach another monk. Is better if he approaches a senior monk and sitting there and worshipping the monk. He has to confess that I have committed such and such a wrong thing. Then the other monk asks, can you remember all these offenses? He answers, yes, I can remember. Then the senior monk advises, don't do it again, right? Then the other one, the promises that, okay, I will not do them again, right? Then that is the method of counseling, right? That means we have to declare open whatever hidden in our mind. Actually, the mental problems arise because of suppressed ideas. Actually, Sigmund Freud also has stated that, because according to his method of free association, what he is doing, or by hypnotherapy, also what he is doing is, he is eliminating such hidden ideas, suppressed ideas. Likewise, if we do something wrong, right? Something wrong against something against our conscience, right? Against our conscience. Suppose that if you are doing something against your conscience, it is deeply rooted in the bottom of the mind, because it actually gradually it will be increased up to a big mental problem. Therefore, Buddhism advises that on the same day, before the rising of the sun of the next day, we have to declare open our such offenses in front of a suitable person. Lay people also can follow this, because we can approach our parents, elder sister, elder brother, or the religious leader, and we can confess our fault, no? And we promise we will never do it again. Then what happens, the psychological theory underlying this is avi kata hissa pasuhoti. When something is declared open, we feel easy. We feel easy. That is very important. Don't keep hidden ideas for a long period of time. It will essentially create mental problems, right? On the same day, you have to declare open. Then number 2, imitation, right? Imitation means, now I will read the confession. This method is derived from the practice of apatti desana, followed by Buddhist monks and nuns. If they commit anything wrong, they have to declare it in front of another member of the Sangha society before the dawn of the next day. Accumulating the experiences of wrong actions create mental problems. So it is better to purify one's mind by declaring every such incidents as a daily practice. As a daily practice, it is better to follow in order to get rid of many problems, right? Number 2 is imitation. Alavaka and Angulimala, well-known 2 characters in Buddhist canon, were tamed by the Buddha first by agreeing with them. Alavaka saw the Buddha sitting in his cave and ordered him to go out. Buddha followed 3 times his order, and finally he was converted to Buddhism. As to this method, first of all, we should agree with the behavior of the mental patient. Otherwise, we cannot control the patient as we wish. It is a method of counseling, right? The customer comes to you because of some problem. But, it has become a problem because he strongly believes in that, his opinion. Therefore, it cannot be easily changed, right? If someone has developed a strong attachment to some opinion, we cannot change it at once. Therefore, what we have to do is we have to agree with the customer first. That actually Alavaka was angry. When he saw Buddha sitting in his cave, he got angry and ordered him to go out. But if Buddha confronted with him without obeying his order, I think there will rise a big conflict. But Buddha followed his order 3 times. He didn't say that, oh, I am the enlightened one, I cannot follow your advice. Buddha didn't say so. He agreed with him. Then, you know, when he agreed 3 times, when he followed 3 times his order, he was humble, right? His anger was decreased, right? How he was motivated to Buddhism. You know, finally he says, so ahang vijarissami gama pura puram namassamanu sambuddham dhammassacha sudhammatanti. He says to the Buddha, from today, I travel from village to village, from city to city, appreciating your reverence, your importance, and the importance of your doctrine, right? He was so motivated, right? Then, you know, why? Because Buddha was in agreement with him at first. Later, he was convinced with the doctrine, right? Therefore, when you are doing counseling, remember you have to agree with the customer all the time, right? Later, you can take him to the desired object, right? Okay, that is the second one. Third one, generalization, right? I have taken this, I have derived this method from the story of Kisa Gautami. I think some of you are familiar with the story. You know, Kisa Gautami had only one son, and the son died, and she was mad because of the death of the son. And taking the dead body of the son, she traveled everywhere in order to find medicine or someone to give life to the dead son. Actually, she was mad. That is why she was mad because of sorrow. Then that is why she went in search of some medicine in order to give life to the dead son. But however, eventually, as a mad woman, she came to the Buddha. Then you see here also, Buddha agreed with her first. Buddha did not say that, oh, it is a dead body, give up it, keep it away. How can we give life to the dead person? He did not say so. Buddha agreed with Kisa Gautami because he asked why. I want to give life to my son. Then Buddha agreed, okay, I will give. Please go and bring some mustard seed from a house where no one is dead. Then, you know, first of all, Buddha agreed with Kisa Gautami, and she went from home to home in search of some mustard seed. But finally, she came to know that in every house, someone is dead. You know, then, you know, here I put it as generalization means, you know, she thought that this death occurred only to her son, right? Actually, when we are affected by some problems, we think that actually it is only for us. But, you know, if we understand openly in the common world, it is common to all, right? Then when we understand that the problem is common to all, then our strength of the problem is decreased. Then, you know, when she understood that the death is common to all beings, then her sorrow was decreased. And finally, she understood the truth. Therefore, you know, this we have to, when a customer comes with a certain mental problem, you have to explain to the customer that this is not only for you. I also have faced with such a problem. Such and such a person has faced with this problem. I know many thousands of hundreds of people come to me with the same problem. Then, you know, when the customer understands that it is shared by many people, the strength of the problem is decreased. There is a good saying in Sanskrit, Snigdha jana sanvibhaktang khalu dukkam sahya vedanam bhavati. Grief shared with loving persons becomes easy to bear, right? We have to share it with others, right? It's called generalization. And number 4, kamma. Kamma, this I didn't read that. Some people think that the mental problems affect them only, right? They become calm when they understand that such problems are common to many people in the society. Kisa Gautami, who was mad with the death of her son, realized the common nature of death for all beings when she was asked by the Buddha to bring some mustard seed from a house where no one was dead, right? Then number 4, kamma. Kamma is a very important concept in Buddhism, right? Kamma. Actually, kamma is accepted in many religions, right? Kamma means action, but however, even in the science, you have heard that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, no? Therefore, kamma has results, right? Actually, volitional actions are called kamma, right? Because there are some actions we are doing unconsciously. We are not responsible for them. But if we are doing something with volition, right? Then we are responsible for that. Therefore, sometimes we are misled by seeing the social situations. Because you can see some people in the society doing all wrong things. But however, they are leading a very happy life. That means very comfortable life. Then you think, oh, they are doing bad actions, but still they are living happily. But we are leading good behavior, but we are suffering. Therefore, you may misunderstand that if we are doing bad things, we can live in the society with happiness. No, don't come to that view. Because the results of the actions never give fruits at once, right? It takes time to measure the results, right? Therefore, if someone's behavior is bad, but still he is enjoying the life, it means that the person has done good deeds in his previous life, right? As a result of the good deeds done in the previous life, now he is enjoying the life. And the bad deeds that he does now will be experience their results in the next life, right? Therefore, you can understand that although we are leading a good life, the bad results of the former karma can affect in this life. No? Therefore, you can be happy. Oh, I am receiving some bad results of my bad actions belonging to the previous life. But I am sure after finishing this, I will not have any such bad effects in the future, right? Therefore, by thinking of the karma and effect, we can solve many problems. Actually, if you refer to the Jataka stories, birth stories in Buddhism, you can see that all the time when Buddha come across some such incidents of the wrong behavior of a monk or any person, what Buddha says is, not only in this life, even in one of your previous lives, you have been behaving, your behavior has been like this. Now also you are doing that. Because Buddha connects this life with the former life. That means karma theory. Actually, karma theory, the concept of karma has solved many mental problems of millions of people. That is why many Buddhist texts have been written on this topic, right? Then I will read this one. The Buddhist theory of karma is a good therapeutic method that can be adapted successfully there are some mental problems that cannot be analyzed properly, revealing all causes and conditions. In such cases, we can explain them that karmas related to former lives may influence the present life. After experiencing the effects of such karmas, we will be released from such effects in the future. This way of thinking, in accordance with the theory of karma, has created the contented society for over 2000 years in Buddhist countries. It is a very good method, karma theory, right? Karma. In Hinduism also it is accepted. And now, we come to the fifth one, dialogue, right? In many discourses of the canon, such as Kasi Bharadwaja and Aganya, friendly dialogues of the Buddha with people occur, and they are logical and philosophical. These dialogues have influenced much for eliminating the mental problems of various types of persons. So we can use this method, especially for educated people, to help them to get rid of their mental problems. This dialogue, method of dialogue, like in the Kasi Bharadwaja Sutta and Aganya Sutta, actually they are logical and philosophical. Because these problems, even the educated people may have some mental problems, right? Because of their strong beliefs in some views, right? Actually, intellectual people may have many conflicts because of the attachment to the various views, right? Therefore, we cannot do simple counseling system. We have to understand, we have to talk with them logically and philosophically. That is why, I will tell you one example of these discourses, the Aganya Sutta of Digha Nikaya. A Brahmin attached to a religious view that Brahmins are the best in the world. That means Brahmins were produced by the creator God Brahma out of his mouth. And therefore, Brahmins are the highest people in the society, and all others are lower than them, right? Then this opinion, this view was very strongly held by the Brahmins. This Brahmin also expressed his view about this. Then Buddha did not oppose that one, right? Okay, your opinion is that the Brahmins are the highest people on earth, and they have been produced out of the mouth of the creator God. Then Buddha argued with him, discussed with him. Okay, if your statement is true, if you believe that your statement is real, then it should be empirically proved. No, in any statement should be able to prove with evidence. Then Buddha asked him, okay, we will find in the society, this Santiko Brahmana, Brahmaniyo, Tuniyopi, Gampiniyopi, Vijayamana, Payama. I can see in the society the Brahmin ladies, some are having seizure, some are pregnant, some are delivering the babies, some are feeding the babies. It is a clear fact in the society that Brahmin lady, in this context, how can I believe your statement that the creator God, Brahman, has created the Brahmins out of his mouth? But we can clearly see in the society, they are being born out of the Brahmin ladies. Then, it is a very logical and philosophical dialogue. with the Brahmin, then actually the Brahmin was convinced, right? Therefore, for that purpose, actually the counselors should be well versed in religion, in various religions and various sciences. Actually, a counselor should have a common understanding of the various subjects, various religions, etc. Right? That's the number 5. Number 6, noble silence. In some cases, the best method of treatment is to maintain complete silence without responding to complaints made by patients. This method has solved many social and individual problems in Buddhist society. Actually, these are also some problems, actually there are some, actually this kind of problems are related to the big community, right? Communities. Actually, suppose that if the majority of the people have grasped one wrong opinion, right? The minority have the right view, but the majority believe in the wrong belief, right? Then what to do? Majority of people are attached to the wrong view, no? Then we cannot do anything, right? Because 75% of people out of the 100 are attached to the wrong view. Only 25% are attached to the right view. But majority is very powerful. No? But although 75% of people are attached to the wrong view, we cannot accept it. No, although because according to the modern world, if the majority accepts something, we also have to accept. But according to Buddhism, we cannot do that because there is a method given in Vinaya. When we check the consent of the majority in regard to something, suppose that wrong view gets more members in support of that wrong view, the judge has the right to abolish that majority's view and give the right place to the right view. Right? That is the Buddhist idea. Therefore, majority of the people's opinion never cannot give the right place, right? Because suppose that if in such a situation, if we cannot do anything, suppose that there are 100 people, 75% of them believe this wrong view, right? But only 25% don't believe, right? Then silence is very important because suppose that there is one incident in Kosambi, city of Kosambi, the monks were quarreling each other due to some disciplinary action. Then Buddha advised them several times, but he couldn't solve the problem. Then after that, Buddha was silent and he went to the forest to spend 3 months, right? That silence also, it is called noble silence, right? It is not ignorant silence, right? Because some people are silent because of ignorance. But this is the educated silence, right? Intellectual silence. But in Mahayana tradition, this is called thundering silence, right? Thundering silence. Silence, actually, if it is a noble silence, Aryova Tumhi Bhav. Buddhism says it is noble silence, right? Noble silence is very important, right? Because finally it will become a very strong force, right? To stop many problems, right? In regard to our individual cases also, if we are going to argue with each other in order to convince something, when we are trying our best all the time, then we are further and further in trouble. Therefore, whatever others will tell, but you have to be silent, right? Then I think in the course of time will solve the problem, right? Time also should be given a chance to solve the problem in some cases. Then this one, in some cases, the best method of treatment is to maintain complete silence without responding to. I read it. Number 7, psychoanalysis. With reference to Madhupindika, Mahanidana, Sutta, etc., we can introduce this method in which the counselor should analyze the psychological process of the patient in order to clarify the causes and conditions of the problem. Right? It's a psychoanalysis. I think we have discussed already in regard to the graph earlier, because with reference to Madhupindika, I explained it. How craving, because of craving, we are searching, because of searching, we get, and because of we get, after we getting, we come to a conclusion, etc. The same thing should be applied here, right? Therefore, I am not going to explain it again. Then number 8, right motivation. According to the famous event of Nanda, he was taken to heaven by the Buddha in order to detach him from Janapada Kalyani by showing themselves. The theory of this method is that one cannot be totally detached from a concept at once. So the person should be motivated to achieve a higher goal, and from there, he or she should be directed to desired object. If we are attached to some concept, some belief, right, some opinion, we cannot detach him or her from that attachment at once, right? It is a long-term attachment, First of all, what we have to do is to change that attachment to a similar one. Another thing which is very similar in content. For example, Nanda was attached to Janapada Kalyani for a long period of time. Now, Buddha showed him damsels, right? Damsels are more beautiful than Janapada Kalyani. Now, when he saw the damsels, he was attached to them. Now, the strong attachment was changed to a new attachment, because new attachment can be easily eliminated, right? Therefore, after that, Buddha said, okay, you can get damsels if you follow my advice. Then he followed the meditation. Then finally, he understood that even the damsels are useless, right? But that is we have to make soft, right? We have to suppose that if there is a strong mental problem, we have to make it flexible, right? First, before solving the problem or before eliminating the problem, we have to make it flexible, right? By other means. After that, we can eliminate, right? That is the method here, right? Right motivation. Maybe sometimes we have to present some unwholesome thing also, right? Actually, that in that case, suppose that if someone thinks, how can Buddha promise Nanda to give damsel? It is wrong. Yeah, in that case, but it is a means, a skillful means. In Mahayana, it is called Upaya Kausalya, right? All bodhisattvas follow that, right? Because bodhisattva can be a teacher, can be a doctor, right? By any life he can take to advise the people. Like that, Buddha also did this as a means of leading Nanda towards the spiritual development. Therefore, it is not a wrong thing, because our intention is good. Okay, right model. Number 9. logical analysis. Some educated people like to argue with others. So the method of argument can be adapted to eliminate their problems. This also applies to educated people. Vasetta Sutta and Aganya Sutta are good examples in this regard. Aganya Sutta I explained, but if we take Vasetta Sutta, it is also in regard to the opinion. That means, Brahmins say that it is a well-established opinion of the Brahmins that society has been classified into 4 classes by the creator god Brahman. That means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra. Brahmanas were produced by the Brahma out of his mouth, and Kshatriyas, warrior class, was produced out of his arm, and the traders or Vaisyas were created out of his thigh, and Sudras, so lower class people, were created out of his feet. This was a very established opinion, right? Actually, it occurs in Rig Veda. It is one of the holy texts of Hinduism, right? Then this idea was established, and Brahmins were attached to that. They never changed that, right? Then in such a case, Buddha in Vasetta Sutta, addressing Vasetta, Buddha says very the logical explanation or argument. He says to the Brahmin, see the plant world, right? Trees. Among the trees, there are differences by birth, right? Mango tree and coconut tree. By birth, both the trees belong to 2 kinds, right? And take elephant and the lion. By birth, these 2 animals belong to 2 kinds, right? And also, in the plant world, in the animal world, among the insects, there are many different kinds, right? By birth, right? By birth, they belong to different kinds, right? Different clans. Then, after explaining the plant world, animal world, possessing such differences, right? By birth, Buddha asked from the Brahmin, see the human beings. Are there any differences by birth, right? If you may think that color difference, black and white, I think it is a seasonal change, right? If we are living near the equator, our skin may be white, right? And if we are living away from equator, our skin will be black, no? I think it is a seasonal change, right? But however, other things, what Buddha points out, take all human beings have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, right? There are no differences, right? And all have blood in red. Then Buddha's argument was that in the plant world, in the animal world, there are differences by birth among them. But as far as human beings are concerned, there are no such differences by birth. By birth, right? Lingam jati mayang tesang anyamanya hita. Evam natti manusesu lingam jati mayang putu. Like in the animal world and the plant world, human beings have no such a difference started by birth, right? Then this is a very good argument, actually logical analysis, right? Anyone can understand the reality. Then next one, number 10, is innocent punishment. Innocent punishment means, not harmful. Although it is a punishment, it is not harmful, right? Then like, here it is said, Brahmadanda is a punishment in which all other members do not talk with the patient, right? This can be used mainly regarding persons with personality disorder such as anger and arrogance, right? The main feature of these punishment is that they never hurt the patient physically, right? Without physical harm, right? Because not speaking with such persons. And also, disobedient devotees also can be punished like this. In one of the in the disciplinary rules, it is written Pattani Pujjanakam. When the monk goes on arms round, if there comes a disobedient devotee to offer something, the monk has to cover up his ball, right? Rejecting his things, right? Like that, innocent punishment. Then number 11. Some people are, it is praising, some people are suffering due to the lack of appreciation for their service or work. Such people should be directed to a suitable environment where they are appreciated, right? Before passing away, Buddha did not forget to appreciate Venerable Ananda's service and the benefits of the last meal given by Chunda Kammara Putta, right? Actually, Buddha followed this, appreciating and also appointing the senior monks who are clever in various areas. He appointed them as seniors, right? Like that, he followed this method of appreciating, evaluating the service. It is all, actually many people are suffering from mental problems because of without appreciation or evaluating their service, right? It is also very important as far as many customers are concerned. Then number 12, friendly meeting. Some people suffer mentally due to the lack of association with other people. They should be provided with such friendly meetings with suitable persons, right? Actually, in Udana Pali, in Meghiya Sutta, Buddha has said that, good friends, because Venerable Meghiya asked the Buddha, is it an essential thing to have a good friend? Then Buddha said, actually, not only for some things, but every success of life can be obtained through a true friend, right? Then friendship is an essential aspect of counseling, right? Actually, there are many people who are suffering from many mental problems because of the absence of good friends, right? Therefore, I think we can encourage them to develop such friendships in order to eliminate such problems. And also, number 13, creating religious emotions. Pilgrimage is one of the most suitable way of creating religious emotions in order to get rid of mental problems such as worry, guilty conscience, sorrow, etc. Pilgrimage. Because Buddha also has mentioned in the Parinibbana Sutta of Dika Nikaya, the place of Prince Siddhartha's birth and enlightenment, and first Dhamma sermon, and the place where he was cremated. These places can be visited by a faithful devotee and create emotions, right? Create emotions, and it will be helpful to get rid of many mental problems. Actually, that friendship also can be developed through such pilgrimage, right? It is also a very good remedy. And last one, 14, creating emotion and intellect. This concept is called Vedalla, and the patient should be provided with occasions where they can experience happiness and knowledge together. Reading novels, watching drama, singing, dancing, etc. can be used in this regard. Actually, these are religious, actually emotional aspect. But watching drama, etc., listening to the songs, etc., there are some suitable novels, suitable dramas, suitable poems. Actually, our intellect and emotion both are developed, right? But if anything develops only emotions, it is not suitable. Emotions and understanding or intellect should be improved, right? Actually, in Theragatha and Therigatha, if you read and Udana Pali, right? Udana Pali, Apadana Pali, there are many poetic creations in the Pali canon. If there are English translations also, if you read them, actually in every such instances, we can understand that our emotional aspect is developed through intellect, right? Intellect and emotion, heart and brain, intellect, right? These two aspects of the personality can be developed by this, right? Therefore, literature also can be used as a therapy. Actually, we can recommend the customers according to their mental problem. You better read this novel, you better read this poem, etc. Right? Then it is also one of the best methods, right? If not the best. And also now I think we have come to the real time, right? Now it is nearly 9 o'clock. We have to give you a chance to ask questions also. Therefore, I think the other aspects can be discussed in the next week. But however, you have already asked some questions by sending emails. First of all, I will give some answers to those questions, right? Then after that, you can ask questions. Venerable Panyaloka, I will answer these first, okay? Reverend Panyaloka, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, anyway, I will finish answering these emails, right? One email is that, one has asked that, are there any other practitioners who follow this modality, right? I think there are many students who have followed these courses. These courses are available in our department also. I think in Sri Lanka, there are many such students who are practicing this. Then number 2 is how to eliminate bad thoughts in night, morning and evening, right? Another question was asked that when they sleep in the night, there comes some unwanted ideas. Actually, I have explained it in accordance with the Vitakka Santana Sutta also, you can remember. But however, one method I will tell you, morning and evening, you have to start the day and end up the day. That means early in the morning, when you want to get up, don't open your eyes, right? Suppose that you are sleeping on the bed, then in front of your face on a wall, you can keep a suitable photograph of a religious leader or any such person that you like. Then when you want to get up, please open your eyes and see that photograph first, right? And after that, you do some religious activities in the morning and determine to spend the day happily. And also, when you go to sleep, before going to sleep, you have to do some religious activities, and you have to get rid of all such mental problems by thinking them more, you can take a book and write down all the things that you have done all the day. That means after writing, you will feel very easy, right? Write down all the problems that come to your mind on a book, and after that you do some practice of metta meditation, compassion meditation. May I be well and happy. May my mother be well and happy. May my father be well and happy. May my brother be well and happy. May my sister be well and happy. May my friends be well and happy. May my enemies be well and happy. May the people in this village be well and happy. May the people in this country be well and happy. May the people in this world be well and happy, etc. You know, like that. Then after doing that metta meditation, compassion meditation, you go to sleep. Then you will not have many unwanted ideas. That is what you have to do. And also, you know, next question, one has asked about the kasina meditation for children, how to apply. You know that kasina is a round object, right? Actually, we have, I cannot show it to you. We have made a small round object, right? Actually, you can print it on a card, right? Like a postcard, you can print a round object with a suitable color. And just you can ask the children, right? Actually, we are doing it. Kasina meditation, we are doing in daily life, right? Suppose that if you, initial application means taking the external object into the mind, right? Sustained application means checking it, right? Or protecting that mental image. After practicing these two things, there arise three results. Piti, Sukha, Ekagrata. Cess, happiness and one-pointedness of mind. Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagrata. You know, same thing we are doing every day. Suppose that if you love, suppose the boy loves a girl, right? Then what he is doing? He takes the image of the girl into the mind, right? That is initial application. Then after that, you are checking. He is checking the girl, right? Whether she has gone somewhere or why didn't she speak, etc. He is always checking the mental image of the girl, right? Then you know, when they practice this initial application and sustained application, vitakka and vichara, three results come. But cess, happiness and one-pointedness of mind cannot be obtained by taking this subject. Actually, according to some cases, three results occur, maybe stress, depression, and suicide, maybe, right? In that three results. But if you take an object like this, you know, a round object, right? Or Buddha image, right? Anything, you can ask the children to look at Buddha statue, small Buddha statue, and create a mental image and think of that. Actually, it creates mental happiness, physical happiness, and concentration of mind, right? We can use many methods. Then the next question is how negative thoughts turn to positive. Actually, you know, I think if you refer to the Vitakka Santana Sutta, in earlier I have explained that through a graph, right? Actually, that graph was made by following the Vitakka Santana Sutta. Then if you follow, you know, not thinking, thinking of the opposite object, right? And thinking of the bad result of the idea, etc. There are, I think, 4 methods. You can follow that one. Same thing, Vitakka Santana. Another one has asked what is Vitakka Santana. Also, the same reply I can give. And also another, Vitakka Santana. And anyway, another very important question was asked. Many terms for one thing. That means, you know, quoting from Dhamma Sangani, one has asked that I think there are more than 100 synonyms for craving. She asked why these 100 terms are given for greed? And are they different from each other? Actually, what I have to tell you that you have taken this example from Dhammasangani. Dhammasangani has anyway, you know, Dhammasangani is the first book of the Abhidhamma Pitaka. It takes too much time to explain Dhammasangani as a whole. Therefore, I am not spending much time for that. Remember that Dhammasangani is the first book of Abhidhamma. Actually, it supplies the main topics for all the Abhidhamma. Actually, it has 4 sections, right? Then Chittuppada Kanda, Rupa Kanda, Nikhepa Kanda, and Atthakatha Kanda. You know, the Chittuppada Kanda explains all the 89 kinds of consciousness and mental concomitants, right? And in the Rupa Kanda, it explains all the 28 material elements. There are divisions and subdivisions. And, you know, in the Nikhepa Kanda, what happens, you know, in the Atthakatha Kanda means commentarial section, the content of the two chapters are summarized, right? It is a summary. And Nikhepa Kanda also is a summary, right? Actually, all the details are given under summarized form, right? Therefore, you know, all the terms used for that mental aspect are summarized and classified into one group. That is why it is called Nikhepa. Actually, Nikhepa and Atthakatha Kanda, these 2 chapters are summaries of the other chapters, right? But however, what I have to tell about these synonyms, you know, that is the style of the language, right? That, for example, Panyapana, Pattapana, Vivarana, Vibhajana, Uttanikama. Jappum Udapadi, Jnanam Udapadi, Vijja Udapadi, Aloko Udapadi, etc. You know, the using synonyms is a style of Buddha's preaching. You know, there is a very important fact because, you know, in modern sciences, we use technical terms. Then what happens, you know, we attach to one term, right? Actually, Buddha did not like that. It is also a defilement. Attachment to different words is also a defilement, right? Therefore, it is called adhivachana sampas. Therefore, we should not attach to one word. We have to understand the meaning, not the terms. People are attached to words, right? It is also become a big problem. Therefore, Buddha uses many synonyms, and then we understand the meaning, but we are not attaching to the words. It is very important, right? Therefore, you know, actually, those terms can be defined in different meanings, right? Therefore, each word has different meaning, but all of them refer to the same idea, right? That's what we have to understand. Then, you know, another question was that happiness, unhappiness, sukha, dukkha, and somanassa, domanassa, mental happiness and mental unhappiness. Then he asked, then where to apply the equanimity, right? Upekha. Actually, you know, mind and matter and body and mind are interrelated, you know, mutually interdependent. Therefore, equanimity also is related to both mentality and physical aspect, both. Both should be in equal kind, because mind cannot exist without body, body cannot exist without mind. Therefore, when we develop equanimity mentally, it also affects the body, right? Then next number is number 7. Suppress. Then another one has asked, is there any canonical reference to say that through samadhi, we are suppressing the defilements. I think I explained it earlier. Because, you know, if we are fully eliminating the defilements, greed, hatred, both, but in the final age, that means when we realize once returning and non-returning level, we are destroying the greed and hatred. No, then, you know, till then they are still in the samadhi level also they are working. That means we are suppressing. Samadhi means for the time, for a certain period of time. Sila means temporarily, but only through the arahantship we are eliminating them. Then no need any reference, because even the references also you can find in the Samanya Phala Sutta, etc. in the Digha Nikaya. That is all. And dementia, Alzheimer's disease, if genetic, how to explain it by the three elements? But I cannot understand what to which these three elements refers. But however, if I take three elements as lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, and delusion, but what I have to tell you this, you know, greed is related to flame, right? Hatred is related to bile, right? Delusion is related to air, right? Then three humors in Ayurveda are related to greed, hatred, and delusion. But dementia or Alzheimer's disease, actually its main aspect is the loss of memory, right? Gradually they are losing their memory, right? Actually, it may be caused by various reasons. That means, you know, maybe because of heredity, and also the accident of the brain, or sudden disease, and it has done some damage to the brain, etc. But however, you know, according to, actually they have not found any real treatment for that. But however, according to Ayurveda, I can tell, you know, among the three humors, flame, bile, and air, are related to, you know, bile is related to understanding. If the bile is in a balanced mood, we can understand anything quickly. And also, if the flame is in a balanced mood, we can remember anything very easily. And also, you know, if the air is in a balanced form, we can recall anything very easily. Therefore, you know, as far as this, if there is no any damage to the brain, if there is a damage, we have to repair it. But however, if there is no any damage to the brain, but if it happens as a psychological problem, then what we have to do is we have to give food and drinks in order to balance flame, balance bile, and balance air, right? Then that means, I think they are given in these lessons. I have given examples, you can see it later. Then, you know, the next one is how to sleep well. Buddhist counsel, you know, if you cannot sleep well, I will tell you one thing, do your duties of the day complete, right? Don't keep anything undone, right? If you have to do anything on this day, do it. Even by giving a phone call, finish all this. And do little compassion meditation, right? Sukham supati, right? Sukham patibhujyati. If anyone follows compassionate idea, create compassionate ideas, right? He or she sleeps well and gets up well, right? Happily. Therefore, you know, the compassion meditation is very important as far as sound sleep is concerned, right? Then we can sleep well. That is what. Then, you know, dementia. I think these are the these are the questions that you have sent to me through email. And there is another, sir, in the previous session, you have mentioned doubt as a mental disorder, isn't it? Yeah, you know, doubt means actually, doubt means that we are doubtful in many cases. But you know, if we keep suspicion, right? It's not doubt, suspicion as a permanent thing in our mentality, it is a disease, right? Otherwise, you know, we have to be doubtful about many things. But suspicion, you know, suspicion is a mental problem. That means we are always suspicious, right? We suspect others, right? Like that. And also, when we are going, we think someone is coming, following me, etc. Right? Such suspicious mentality is a mental disorder. Okay, now I think Reverend Panyaloka, now it is your turn to continue the question and answer session.
Thank you very much, dear Professor. There were many thank-giving messages from foreign participants, and they all were mentioning that they are thankful very much for the wonderful session. And today also in the fourth session, they could learn many things, and they hope very much that they can continue with the program. There are some participants, all foreign participants, they are with their questions. So I think without taking much time, I would like to go to those questions. I would like to request the participants, please be brief and specific in presenting your questions so that we can save our time. First, I would like to invite Mr. Sumedha Viraj to present your question. Mr. Sumedha Viraj, please.
Thank you very much, Professor, Venerable Professor Panyaloka and Professor for wonderful lecture today once again. And I would like to ask you two questions. First one is, so I wonder whether can we divide the 12 factors in the Majjhima Patipada, like mental disorders, like psychosis disorders and neurosis disorders. So I wonder whether ignorance, mental dispositions, consciousness, name and form, and six senses as psychosis disorders, and contact, feeling, clinging, craving, existence, birth, decay, death, and so on as neurosis disorders. So I wonder whether can we categorize these 12 factors as some kind of mental disorders once we are guiding in the wrong way. So in the direct code and opposite direction. So Buddha has mentioned that Arohana and Avarohana way, and how to eradicate all these defilements in the reverse order. So I wonder whether can we divide these as psychosis disorders and neurosis disorders. And my second question is, dear Professor, I have found some suttas like the Buddha had discussions with the Panchasika in Sakapanya Sutta. So there are different questions that leads to mental, mental disorders, and we can gain some information how Buddha advised and answer these questions. So I saw kind of therapeutic approaches in this sutta as well. So I just want to clarify with the professor if my idea is somewhat correct, or what is your intention regarding these two questions. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, actually, in regard to the Sakapanya Sutta, what you say is okay, because you know those advices are very important as far as psychological problems are concerned. But however, the first one, neurotic and psychotic, psychotic.
Yes. Psychosis disorders and the neurosis disorders.
Yeah, but however, the paticca samuppada, the dependent co-origination, right? What you mentioned, the 12-fold formula, right? Actually, it is not the one and only preaching on causality. In some cases, we have 12, some cases 10, 5, etc., right? But however, this process of 12-fold formula, we cannot understand them physically and mentally, right? Because both are interconnected, right? And also, as you said that, the last ones, that means, jati pachya, the upadana jati. Bhava means existence. Then it is out of our experience. No, we cannot understand it. But if we analyze them psychologically, that means bhava means the concept of I, concept of I-ness, I am, right? Because it comes, that idea as mind, right? Etam mama eso hamas. When we grasp something as mind, then increases the idea of I. Here, then arises the two ideas: I was born, I will die, right? Then there is no someone called I, but we have conceived that I am here, right? This is a permanent one. Then when I stand here, then only the two ideas come: I was born, I will die. That is why Buddha, when he was 35 years old, he said that I destroyed birth, I destroyed death. Why? I destroyed the concept of I, right? When the concept of I is destroyed, no birth, no death. Like that, actually, if we analyze the whole dependent origination 12-fold formula, psychologically, it becomes very meaningful. Right?
Thank you very much, Professor, for that wonderful answer, and thank you very much for that question. Then I would like to go to Mr. Manish Garg. Manish Garg, please present your question. Mr. Manish Garg, can you kindly present your question?
Hello, am I audible, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
First, thank you, Professor, for such an enlightening discussion. I believe your approach is quite innovative in building bridges between the yoga and Ayurveda theory of Hinduism, the field of Western psychology, along with the psychological aspects explained by Buddha. My question is related to the equivalence traced between Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and greed, hatred, and delusion. In the theory of Ayurveda, generally we read is that the idea is to move from Tamas to Rajas to Sattva, and Sattva is equated with balancedness of mind. It's kind of a purity. An equivalent word or a mental factor which I can trace in Abhidhamma psychology is upekha, that is neutrality of mind or impartiality or balancedness of mind. But however, in your exposition, we have equated it to greed. That somehow I'm finding myself a little bit at odds to understand. If you could kindly explain where I'm wrong.
Yeah, actually, this is what it is not mentioned in Ayurveda that lobha or greed is similar to sattva. But however, what I compare it in this way. Actually, sattva is positive in Ayurvedic science. Because, Ayurveda advises people to live happily and longer, right? For a enjoyable and happy life and live longer, we need desire. We need greed, right? Therefore, in Ayurveda, that aspect is considered as positive, right? But it cannot be taken as the equanimity, because the other two, right, Rajas and Tamas, and this one, this all the three are going together, right? Then but in Buddhism leads the people to end up this life, right? Therefore, in that context, greed is negative. But however, as far as mundane level is concerned, sattva is very good, right? It is essential for life. But in Buddhist context, as far as supramundane aspect, objective is concerned, it is negative. Otherwise, both are very same. But if you consider that sattva is something beyond these two, but it is up to you. But however, these three aspects are very similar as far as these two contexts are concerned.
Thank you very much, Professor, once again, and thank you very much for that question. Next, can I go please to Mr. Roshant Reggie? Roshant Reggie. Please present your question.
Can you listen my voice now, sir?
Sure, can.
Okay. I was there for this is my fourth day, and really thank for the great and impressive sessions. And I don't use my time for much to thanks, but thank you very much. My question is Professor talk about creating emotion and intellect. Is that Vedala? Is it we call musical therapy? Is it close to musical therapy? And also, is it close to Freud's theory like psychodrama? So that's my simple question. And also, I heard about Mozart effect like that. So choosing people to listen that to cure their illness like that. So is it equal this type of things like musical therapy is like Vedala?
No, because music, actually musical means raga, no? Raga, all music, they are raga. And but here the theory is this. This theory is not available in other traditions. This is called pasada sanvega. The happiness and unhappiness both should occur together, right? When we see, suppose that we believe the Buddha and we are very faithful to the Buddha. When we visit the place where he was cremated, then we feel unhappy or sorrow. But at the same time, we feel happy because of the Buddha's Dhamma and quality. Like that, if there arise happiness, and actually the terms are not enough to explain that thing. If there arise emotions and intellect both together, what happens is mind is purified, right? If there arise only happiness, attachment. If there only arise unhappiness, that means hatred. Then when those two aspects occur together, mind is purified. There are such creations in music, in poems, in novels, in dramas, etc. Psychodrama also may include both. But however, if we increase only desire or only hatred, it is not here meant, right? Both should, both the aspects should occur together. Then only our mind will be, it is called vomiting, psychological vomiting, right? Like that.
Thank you very much for the question. And once again, thank you very much for your wonderful answer, Professor. Then may I next go to Dondi Silva from UK. Can you present your question, please?
Thank you very much, Sir. Thank you very much, Professor, for another sterling discourse. A very simple reflection on the points concerning the Sabbasava Sutta, which you highlighted, the 7 steps which cause anxiety and distress. I'm now speaking as a former diplomat having negotiated and put environmental treaties on shared natural resources concerning conflicting nations. One of the things which I find in this experience which causes distress and stress is that things don't go according to plan. And I tend to now equate dukkha as things not going according to one's plan or being unsatisfactory. Would I be right in coming to that conclusion, sir? Thank you.
Yes, that is right. Because dukkha is based on impermanence, theory of impermanence. Theory of impermanence is based on the cause and effect theory, right? Then whole the world is governed by the cause and effect theory. Therefore, all are interdependent, depending on each other. Then always they are changing. Then but as human beings, we want to happen everything in a plan, in an order, right? But the things are happening naturally in other way, right? Then we cannot get satisfaction. We cannot get complete satisfaction out of anything. That means everything is changing. That's right. Your conclusion is right. Yeah. Unsatisfactoriness.
Thank you very much, Professor, and thank you very much for that question. And now we are going to the last question. We are coming to the ending of the question and answer session. So last question today from Mr. Ditta Dhamma. Can you present your question, please?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you, Professor, for the wonderful lecture today. Regarding the threefold therapeutic system, mental purification, you mentioned that all treatments should start from change behavior. What I find that this is my opinion, that in order to start this, the patient need to acknowledge that he or she is unwell, sick, so that to receive this treatment effectively. So what do you think about this? Do you think that it is necessary for the patient to acknowledge first that he or she need help, so that we can offer this help to give them the particular treatments, or it is not necessary at all? Because it seems that some people are still stubborn. Whenever they come and see us, then we say that, look, you need help, but they say, no, I'm fine, So what do you think about this in order to have effective treatment on these matters? Thank you.
Actually, thank you very much. Is it that if someone is uncontrollable behavior due to some illness, right, then we have to give the physical treatments first, right? Without that, we cannot go to the behavioral change or anything. We have to calm down the physical problems first, right? That is we have to give medicine or give massage or any medicine, etc. There are various physical therapies, right? We have to do them. Otherwise, we cannot start anything, right? That's right.
Oh. So they need to acknowledge us. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Okay. So that we can prescribe the appropriate advice accordingly, right? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Sir, may I Thank you very much, Professor, once again for the fourth and wonderful session. Once again, so if you have further questions, you can email to the organizers so that they will be print out and presented to the professor. They will be answered after the fifth and last session. And we should be thankful to Professor for his tireless efforts for disseminating this wonderful knowledge for international community. There were many hundred participants from many parts of the world today. They were very much interested, and maybe to save time, they were sending many thanking messages to Professor, appreciating the lecture today. And we have launched the book, so you can refer and read it. On behalf of the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies and the organizing committee of the department and the University of Kelani, I'm thankful very much to our veteran professor, Sumanapala Galmangoda, for devoting this very important time of him for us, for the international community to disseminate this knowledge. And I am thankful very much to all the participants from many countries, from many parts of the world, for your interest for this subject. So we hope that we to meet you in the fifth and the last session on next Sunday. So thank you very much once again. Good night to everybody. May the noble Triple Gem bless you. Thank you all.